I could never even understand the word redeem, to tell you honestly, for a very long time. To me, it's not even an actionable word. I mean, I can go past redeem and stand on faith. Or I can go past faith and stand on grace. I'm not able to get my nervous system fired up on a word which is supposed to be my differentiator. Have we made that word completely dead? Or have we not spent time in it? Or have the Christians spoken that word over and over and over again so much that it has lost its meaning, it has numbed us, and our interpretations have failed us?
To Wow Tuesday. So I'm Sonali, for those of you who don't know me. And it's an absolute honor. And I'm so thankful and grateful that the prophets asked me to open for you, Ajay. So how's everyone doing? How was the long weekend? I saw your stories, so don't try to hide away from it. Has everyone did everyone have a chance to catch the last two meetings? Who was here for Ezra's word on Sunday? Wasn't he awesome? Who was here last Tuesday for Rose's word? Wasn't he awesome? Okay, so if anyone missed the last two meetings, I would strongly advise you guys, please catch the recording. Okay, it was so good. All right, so before I call up Ajay, who's going to sow an awesome word today, I just want to backtrack and tell you guys the story about how I got into the same industry as him. So I was 32 years old, okay? And for anyone who knows anything about the modeling industry, generally, models don't start modeling at 32. They retire when they're in their 30s, okay? So for me, it was the exact opposite. There were so many words that were spoken over my life, and Tash gave me a word. Profi had a vision. So many people from WOW were so encouraging. And then Ajay gives me this word, right? I don't know how many of you have had that experience when Ajay gives you a word. It's not normal, right? Generally, like, he's not the type of person to take your hand and gaze into your eyes and then tell you, God is telling me this, I had this dream. He's like, this is exactly what he did for me. So we were crossing paths. I hardly knew him. This was about 11 years ago. And he was crossing me and I was crossing him, and then he turns and he points and he says, Sonali, yeah, you, CFW, Colombo, no, what? The Supermodel Sri Lanka. Yeah, that's for you. You need to take it, you need to go, okay, you do it. And I'm like, was he asking me, or was that a prophecy? What was that about? And then, of course, later, I knew that it was his word for me to kickstart my modeling career, which I had been sitting on and just thinking about for some time. So I think that's a word for somebody here. If you are thinking of starting something and God has given you a word, it's time to start. Okay. So I started and I got into it. And usually when you're new to an industry, you don't know what to expect. You just hear all these preconceived notions. There's a lot of hearsay. So, and like a lot of things are misunderstood, misjudged, misrepresented, and like there can be scandal on certain things in certain areas. So I only knew of this, but I didn't take it too much into mind. And then when I had to select an agency, I somehow managed to get into an agency that Ajay was overlooking. And I'm so glad that I did, because over the years, it's been, yeah, like I said, about 11 years. With every season, with every year, I have really been, even though we don't work closely together, I've been able to experience and live in this realm that, because he is the head. He's like, guys, if you don't know Ajay, he's like the father of fashion in this country, right? And he really has so much authority in that sphere, in the way he carries himself. He's so confident, and he's so sure when he takes decisions. Of course, many of us who have worked with him have got blasted many times, and that's a different story. And of course, he needs to be that, because when you're in leadership and when you are out there, you have to take the risks, and there's so much weight that it carries. So I've really had the privilege of seeing how he comes in to this industry that is supposedly something else, and how he keeps on redeeming and redeeming. He basically, the fashion industry today is so different. It has grown so much. There is so much scope for a nobody to just come there and become a somebody, So he's always about including people. He's always about work ethics and sustainability and inclusivity and all of these things. And end of the day, it's a platform for people to shine, and he hardly gets much of the credit, although, and that's not his heart, because he wants to serve and he wants to make sure that the people get the proper recognition and Sri Lanka goes to the next level. And that's his heart, right? And that's where it is today. So I'm so grateful that that I was able to learn that about him and get imparted as well. So that was how my experience with Ajay and how we connected. So are you guys ready to hear something awesome today? I hope you guys when Ajay speaks, it's never flat. It's so many dimensions. He'll bring your past, he'll connect it to your present, and then you'll see the future. There's so much going on, right? So I hope you guys are ready to be blown away. Your religion is going to get shaked up, okay? I hope you are ready for an awesome, awesome word. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, give it up for the one, the only Ajay Veer Singh.
You know, so high, so high, I can feel it like I can change the world tonight. Like I can change the world tonight.
Thank you, Sonali. That's a nice new CV to have. And Mothership. Jackie, that was awesome. That really was awesome, Mothership. I was just like, when you said that, it was running in my head that 11 years ago in September, not 11, 11 was Sonali. It was 2011 in September when I came to Warehouse Project, right? And definitely at that time, the ship was smaller, but the dreams were way bigger. Right? And sometimes the dreams were so big, I didn't even understand if, was it like actually, are we imagining? Are we like, is it an illusion? Are we, So that was, and from September 2011, when I came to Warehouse for the, and I met Prophet Kirby. And from there till now, wow. Okay, I mean, that really is a mothership. That really is a mothership. The moment Jackie spoke, that whole thing just whizzed past in my head, and I was thinking, and I met my good friend Ezra a year or so later there, and so many different things got added on. Yeah, Ashanti used to preach then, and I know where's that Ashanti now, but yeah. And Sulali wanted to preach then, and which is still a dream. So all that happened, and the ground that we stand here and we speak, right, is such a rich ground, right? I was just thinking earlier at the Warehouse Project when we would go and have our worship, and I remember Ro there, and that was like a raw, passionate worship. You couldn't hold it; it could kind of just slap you. That kind of a worship, right? And over the years, as we come to where we are now, all this is so sophisticatedly framed, It's palatable. It's palatable, yet it's cutting edge. And then it still gets pushed around like what's happening. I was watching all that. I hope you watched the live, live feed from the US, right? And incredibly unbelievable. That's what's happening. And God's been faithful. God's been faithful over His word at Vow, our people at Vow, and I always feel that we are one body, and now that we have a word for it, right? I love that word. I called Mel to get that word clarified once again, and it was we under the bishopric system, the order, the protocol, right? So it's operato, not operatus. Okay, so it doesn't matter who stands here, right? I'm well covered by Bishop Kirby Delano Roll, right? So it's not the face, it's the richness of the ground that we're standing on, right? So, and I tell you, you'll have similar kind of things because we are operato in the bishopric, right? So well covered, and it works really well. So yes. Let me get this thing in order so I stay on track. And as my friends here have told me, that because when I get excited with the revelation, I run through it, right? Because I'm so eager to download. I've been told, go slow, okay? So I'll go slow. So open your hearts. I've really pushed this through because I'm pushing it on to you, okay? Under the bishopric. Okay, so you're going to have your breakthroughs, right? And I really want you to understand this one thing that has been talking to me a lot for a few months now, and it's so fresh now in the sense that, do you feel that, or do you see that we are surrounded by dead words who are like dead? We take it for granted. Some of the words we got numb to those words. And those words are powerful. So I don't understand how we can get numb or desensitize ourselves towards words, because words, if you think of it, and if I could renew it for you today, is words like capture a frequency, right? It can heal you, it can destroy you, it can kill you, it can lift you up, right? And yet we desensitize ourselves to the words, and you see they go numb. And I was thinking so simple, things like when you say, hey, how are you? I'm good. Did you really mean you said you were good? Or it was just a dead word? Or you were just too numb to that word, right? And we surround ourselves with these words, and then we realize that we don't have a breakthrough, right? So I'm building it towards a dead word. So I thought I should tell you this first, right? And if I was just thinking that if I could today stir up that word, which I'll reveal to you a little later, and if I could add a new dimension in your faith walk, your foundations will get stronger. Okay, so that is really important, because I know that lots of us, right? Lots of us are we are enslaved to certain situations in our lives, and we're looking for breakthroughs. Right? And we can't find those breakthroughs, and we are then frustrated and struggling. And I liked what Ezra was saying on Sunday, my friend there, and he said that, he's feeling it, that we're just there, right there, okay? So come on, lift up your hands, and in your hands, hold the things that you think you are enslaved to, okay? Because today we are lifting it up to the altar, the things that we're enslaved to, right? And we will push through and get that breakthrough tonight, because we are under a covering, and we are bringing to remembrance the good things that's happening in the US. We are one body, right? And we will get through this. Freedom will come to us for the very things we're enslaved by, okay? And now with that, we're going to start this, okay? So it's important. It's really important, right? So let's get a little renewed and refreshed by this. So I'm timing. Okay, so I was in India. Okay, before I tell you that every time I go to India, every time I go to India, always a spiritual experience takes place. And it's happening more and more now because I was thinking, why am I so sensitive to the spiritual experience in India? And why does it happen more and more now? And I realized it's the kind of word that you get equipped by and the word that you get fed by. I mean, if you remember the words that's been spoken over us or words shared with us, right? Holy orders. You remember? Sphere sovereignty, yeah. Then superior firepower, yeah. So those things I always feel come in inside me and comes in inside you. And once you start experiencing those words, something does get upgraded in the system. Because then I look at Prophet Kirby and I see that he's got upgraded. Then I see the body's got upgraded. Then I see the America's got upgraded. So we can't be left behind. It's just we are not experiencing it because the block is somewhere in our heart that we're not experiencing it, right? So I was in India just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I was at the airport and waiting to be picked up. And there's I have to be politically correct. There was a holy man. There was a holy man who came, and very smart-looking holy man, and long hair, and they had a paste here and a little things here. And there was a commotion, and people were kind of, walking around, and it's a big airport, and then you had very nice cars that came, and they were like, suddenly the security jumps out, and there are guns with the security. So obviously he was a heavy-duty holy man, right? And gets into the car, nice cars, right? And there were lots of people. So, and everyone's trying to take selfies there. So much so one of the Indian cops in a uniform, he also comes and takes a selfie. So I said, okay, this must be really some heavy-duty guy, right? So it stays with me. And then I get picked up, and like in half an hour later, where my sister stays, I go there, and there is this poster of other holy man from another religion, right? And I think they are Jains, Jains, right? And they don't wear clothes, right? So it's a very discreetly taken photograph. You're seated in a posture, and there's a photograph, and they follow all the way. And then I saw some people going towards that, right? Just recently, I was thinking, looking at all that, and then anyways, I get to my sister's place. And this thing is running in my head that I saw it at the airport, then I see here, completely different, right? And as I go there, I'm just thinking at that point, how different is my faith compared to the faith of the guy who was following that guy and the guy who was at the airport, rushing, rushing. And how different is my faith? Like, how am I experiencing it differently than what he's experienced? Right? Is there a difference? Is there a difference in my belief system? Is there a difference in my faith? Like how far can I go? Am I all sold in? Have I bought in this whole thing as much as they have? Right? Or have they as much as I have? Right? So it's all running in my head, and suddenly, my sister comes and says, hey, there's this big guy, he's staying in the house right opposite. Right? And I said, oh, okay, this thing is like come in front of me completely. So in the morning I get up and I see like cars coming and, of a different caliber, and you're getting down and, all your luxury cars you can think, and this guy comes out and they cover themselves with a feather back and front because they have to walk in a certain manner, and people are walking there, right? So how different is my faith? I'm thinking, what are they experiencing? What are they experiencing? And this is India, which is on such a motion and momentum, right? So sometimes you might think that is their faith bringing more than my faith to them, the results. So I'm completely completely taken up, and I said, okay, what is it? What is it? What is is my faith how is that guy on the street feeling, and how different is his feeling to follow him versus mine to follow Christ? What is it, right? It's like it came to the most basic, yeah? And I remembered, Prophet Kirby telling me a couple of years ago, he says, always look for redemption if they have redemption, if they have redemption, right? And I brought that to my thinking, and I said, okay, is the redemption? And I said, but I don't feel it. I'm not experiencing that redemption. Like, do you? Do you? Do you experience redemption? That's the difference. So if my differentiator with the next faith guy is as dead as how I'm not even feeling it, isn't that the hypocrisy? I could never even understand the word redeem, to tell you honestly, for a very long time. Right? It's like, to me, it's not even an actionable word. I mean, I can go past redeem and stand on faith. Right? Or I can go past faith and stand on grace. But someone says, can you go and stand on redeem? Because this redeem that you're standing on is different than that guy. I said, that guy probably is experiencing whatever he's experiencing more than I'm experiencing, and my differentiator does not even get me excited. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't even know. What's redeem, Jackie? What's redeem to you? Huh? Like, what's redeem? What's redeem? Just to give a word. What do you think, Eric? What is redeem? No, redeem. Like if I say, you're redeemed. So what do you mean by redeemed? Huh? Restored. Jackie, the scholar. You stirred me up and I came. Like, what is redeem? Like, just casually, just guys throw it at me. Just redeem. Okay? Harun, my friend. I'm coming to you, buddy. Released. Do you see? This is supposed to be our differentiator. This thing was troubling me. And this is supposed to be our differentiator. Right? My differentiator is not even stirring me up. How will I get results? Right? So this went on and on and on in my head for a bit. And I said, there is something that we're missing. Right? There's something that I'm not able to get my nervous system fired up on a word which is supposed to be my differentiator. That is supposed to get me far more than the other guys are getting. Is that a problem? That's why I'm not getting. Have we made that word completely dead? Or have we not spent time in it? Or have the Christians spoken that word over and over and over again so much that it has lost its meaning, it has numbed us, and our interpretations have failed us? Has that happened? So today, if I can bring the most strongest and the most powerful word, right, and I know why it has gone dead, because it is out of context. Okay, and I'll share that with you. Right? Because if I go to Afghanistan, maybe not, but okay, if I go to Afghanistan, right, and if I tell an Afghan there, say, hey, do you know, I come from a land where there's ocean and the fish go down and up and, they have dolphins and, will he have context for that kind of environment? It'll be a dead word for him, right? Because he's landlocked and mountain-locked, right? It's completely dead, right? I feel that's the problem. And I'm pretty sure that's the problem. I'm actually 200% sure that's the problem, okay? And that is what, if I can push it into your hearts today, right, under this covering, yeah, you will see things changing that you held in your hand at the beginning, okay? So, okay. Right, so redemption, our differentiator. So I started researching this a bit more, right, after this whole incident happened. And I realized that there's stories of redemption in Exodus. God moved, got his people out of slavery. With a mighty hand he moved. Yeah, the same thing is in Isaiah, right? And there's redemption after redemption after redemption, okay? And then I realized halfway through, what Jesus promises is not that version of redemption. right? That redemption that we are supposed to have as our differentiator is captured by another Greek word, which is so dimensional, right? That word is like, because it has to capture something more than just redemption, because Jesus is promising a new kind of redemption. It's not that kind of redemption, because the whole Bible is full of so many different kind of redemptions, right? And I come across this word, which I thought was just, I can have the slide up now. No, not this one. No, don't reveal the story. The first one, the one okay, the word is apolutrosis. Apolutrosis, okay? That's apolutrosis. Apolutrosis is a word that captures redemption in this manner, because apo means separation. It's not the apo. The apo means separation. Lu is to loosen what is bound, loose any person that is tied. And lutron or lutrosis comes from the root word lutron, which means money is paid for a person to completely free him from the issues that he has. This apolutrosis is the redemption Jesus promised. It was not the redemption that is blanket spread. It has a different. So this apolutrosis is what was promised to us as something that we can take it to the bank, right? And the reason this apolutrosis makes no sense to us, okay, is the very fact because this was done in biblical times where slavery was visible. And you did not want to go into slavery. So we are right now the Afghans trying to figure out the ocean because we don't have slavery visible anywhere in front of us. So because we don't have context, right, we cannot understand apolutrosis. Right? If you can understand apolutrosis by imagining the fact that every day morning you go to a market of slavery where your relationships are enslaved, where your businesses are enslaved, where your finances are enslaved, right? Then you can understand that this apolutrosis comes into play really strongly. Right? Because this is the one that can actually take you to a different level. To me, this word on a Bible, this redemption was going flat, and this thing just got lifted up, and there was a whole story that got built up all the way, which I can share with you. Yeah? Okay, so where was it first used? It's a Greek word. Biblically, it talks about slavery. Where was it first used? It was... it's funny enough. I mean, even the demonstration of this word really got me a little. I said, "Wow, God can do it. Only He can do it like that." The first place this word was ever mentioned in the Bible is in the Old Testament, right? And it is so beautifully and so visually, vividly described. Then after that, it's 9 times used in the New Testament because the need for it was in the New Testament. Right? But the demonstration of it was in the Old Testament, and if you relook at the whole story, you'll realize that this has so many layers and layers and layers that you can use it daily, and you can stand on that so strongly. I kid you not, for the time I've been practicing this in last 2 weeks, my faith has got stronger. When I say faith means faith to get something has got stronger. Right? I feel like when you declare something is stronger. Right? Because suddenly that you're not bound into something that you can't move. You'll get in your spirit for sure. Right? Just see it when it works for you. Yeah. So this was first mentioned in Book of Daniel's. In Scripture, let's go there. Scripture 4:33. Ezra, I learned from you and got it all up there before they speak. So this is where it was first described. This is actually, as per biblical terms, as per Greek, the word, this is where apolutrosis first happens. not in Exodus, not before that, right? And it happens and I was surprised to see that happens here to a heathen king, pagan king who has destroyed Jerusalem, right? And he's given a whole dream and promises that you will be so great, your kingdom will be seen around the world, and you will have this, and you'll have this, and you'll have all of that, right? And then he's even told that if your pride hits you, you're going to really get you get hammered down, and you will be completely taken away, and then you get lifted up back on, right? And things get added on. Can you believe that this was shown? Such a strong word of redemption was shown on a heathen king. Right? And there's a description because they say there was no cost that he had to pay to come back up. There was no cost that he didn't have to even pay his cost. Like, look at this. Just go back up a bit. Just go back. The word was, okay, no, hang on. The word was still in the king's mouth. Okay, just go back up a little more. A little more. Yeah, little more, little more, little more. Little more, little more. Little more. 20. Okay, all this came to, let's go to 19. I think that's where it starts well. I just said the word 19. I think it'll be there. So, whose name? Okay, no, further down. Sorry, can I just go to 27 again? The 27. 27. Okay. In as much as therefore, King, let my advice be acceptable. Break off your sins. Okay, this is where Daniel is telling him that don't get get your ego going on that. So go further down. Go further down. Lengthening of your prosperity. Okay, he warns him. Go further down. Okay, at the end of 12 months, he was walking in the royal palace. The king spoke, saying, "It's not great that I have built for a royal dwelling a mighty power and the honor of my majesty," right? And it says, while the word was still in the king's mouth, a voice fell from heaven saying, "The kingdom has departed from you, and they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling will be with the beast." Now, just hold on here. When I saw this, and I was trying to understand how slavery works in Greece, this is exactly a version of slavery. Because here you are up there, so big, everything, and God's with you, right? And now the command that comes that tells you that now you'll be moved away from a human society and your dwelling will be with the animals, right? So it's such a distinct, stark reality that you are taken from there and thrown right to the bottom, right? Okay, let's go to 34. 34, okay. This is where this, just hold on. This is where they say apoltrosis actually happens. The first time it's mentioned here. It says, "And at the end of the time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up, lifted my eyes to the heaven, and my understanding returned to me." Okay? "I blessed the Most High, praised and honored him who lives forever." Okay? But the important part is I looked up, right? Okay, go down. Now to the end of 36, go further down. Okay, here. "At the same time, my reason returned to me, glory of my kingdom was restored." Further down. Now you see, it says, excellent majesty was added on. Right? Excellent majesty was added on. All he did was, he looked up. Do you see that? This is the guy who destroyed Jerusalem. Right? And if you read this again and again from the perspective that was God trying to demonstrate to us in the New Testament that how this kind of redemption works, right? And he explicitly, if you go back and go home and read this whole description where you say how I was raised up, even given a chance to say, don't do that because there'll be a lengthening of your time, then he says, okay, now you've done it, it's taken away, your dwelling is with the beast, and then after time is fulfilled, he said, no, God, I made a mistake. He looks up and he says, okay, now I'm restoring, restore. Then he says, now I'm adding. Forget the restoring. It's not just restoring, I'm adding on. An excellent majesty was added. Right? And I said, when you look at it, it was like description that, okay, slavery, where you had no power, right? a king is sent to live with the animals. So what all has been taken away from him? Honor, wealth, thought process, right? His hair growing and he's got those nails coming out. So you have no self-esteem. You are bound like an animal in a like how you see in Gladiator movie, you see like you're in the dungeons, right? Don't you find yourself in dungeons of those things? With your businesses, with your health, with relationships, right? But because we don't have a resolution of it, and because this word never made sense. But the point is that this is the only time this word is used in Old Testament, and the 9 times is in the New Testament. Right? Apoltrosis. They've gone so much into detail in this word because they said there are 3 kinds of redemptions at that time. There were 3 kinds of redemptions. One was a redemption called agrazo. Okay? I almost learned Greek reading this. Was agrazo. So what they do is someone goes, takes the slave from this place, uses the slave, and places him somewhere else. So it's pretty much our lives. We are enslaved to finances. We get picked up from there. Now we get enslaved to health. Then we get picked up to relationships. So that's agrazo. Then there's a second one called exerazo. Exerazo is you go pick the guy from this slave den, and you take him home, but he will remain your slave. Right? So that guy stays at home, but he's still a slave. Yeah. The last one is called the lutrosis, where what happens is someone goes and takes the slave from the place and he says, I paid you, go and fly. That guy has everything just opens up for that person. Right? So these are the kind of redemptions that this around Nebuchadnezzar, they speak about the redemptions. Did you hear of these redemptions? I didn't. I didn't even hear there were so many kind of redemptions. Right? But tonight you will. Yes. Tonight you will, because it's coming into your spirit. Yes. Right? And you will feel it because you will be able to connect apoltrosis in such a manner that you will say, okay, this is for me. I can work in this order. Right? Yes. So grab it. Place it in. Get your nervous systems fired up on this. Okay? So, okay, so, no, I just look at the time just to see how I'm going with this timing thing. Okay, so let's look at what happens in the New Testament with that. So, can we see Luke 21? This is the first time they use apoltrosis. That's Luke 21:28. Okay, Luke 21. So, it's really interesting. It's a very similar story. Jesus is talking about, and he says, and they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away, captive into all nations, and Jerusalem will be trampled by Gentiles until the Gentiles are fulfilled. Hold on. There the guy who experienced apoltrosis had trampled Jerusalem. And Jesus is saying, here again, we're taking Jerusalem into slavery. Gentiles trampling Jerusalem. Right? This is the first mention of apoltrosis in the New Testament, and that's the earlier one. Further down. Okay. 26. Is 26? Yeah, 26. 26. Men's heart failing them from fear. This is slavery. Because the temple has got trampled. Now you're into slavery. Now your men's heart are failing. Like our hearts fail daily. Like we enslaved daily, right? Hearts failing daily. Then he says there'll be a son of man coming in the clouds. Then you go down. 28. Just hold on there. He said, when these things begin to happen, like Nebuchadnezzar, look up. Look up. Right? Because your apoltrosis is near. This is exactly how it was shown in Nebuchadnezzar, so beautifully described. And here's the first time it's showing there's the first mention of apoltrosis in the New Testament. And how amazingly he says, the Jerusalem will be trampled means you enslaved, right? Look up, right? Because it's there. That part of apoltrosis. Yeah? So there it was in that manner. Okay, so, okay. So I was in, so something really interesting happened while I was in Delhi, right? I had to use this word, right? So I have this, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been going for my medical checks and playing football regularly, and all that was working excellent. But this red blood cells in my body were fighting a little extra. So I couldn't understand what the heck was going on, and always little high, always little high. And someone said, why don't you, when you go to India, get it checked, right? So I go there, and, in India, they're very good doctors, but there's so many and so far, you don't know who to go to, right? So now all those holy men story had happened in my head. So I was just like sitting at home, and I told my sister, I said, okay, but I'm thinking this, right? Apoltrosis. I said, I need that apoltrosis. I don't need redemption. I need freedom from this slavery of health, right? I need apoltrosis. I don't need redemption, right? So I tell my sister, can you find a good immunologist that I can go and meet for this? So she calls everyone, and she finds the best one is probably 100 meters down the road. I said, okay, in Delhi, what are the chances? So I actually go and meet the guy. And this guy on his board says Padma Shri. That means he's got President's honor. And under the name, it says like Harvard Medical. And below that, it says physician to the former President of India. And I said, apoltrosis. Okay, so anyways, I go there. He says, let's get your blood test done. Nice guy, enjoys a cigar and suit and everything. So then this guy tells me you got to take 13 kind of blood tests. So I sent to my GP in Colombo. He said, oh, this is very comprehensive. Go for it. So I go and do these tests. But in my head is saying, okay, I'm already the apoltrosis has happened because I'm not in the slave market. So this thing is not working on me because I've accepted this, right? It's not the redemption of Exodus. It's the apoltrosis of Nebuchadnezzar. And I've seen what happened in Luke 21. Then I'll show you a couple of others, right? And I've seen this. So that's me. That's me. So anyways, I go and see this blood test happens, huge report. And as I walk in, he says, Mr. Singh, your allergy levels are very high. I said, okay. He said, normally it should be between 0 to 158, right? We can manage 300, but yours is 950. It's 3 times the normal thing. So like, what are you fighting? I mean, you're clapping, it's not good. It's not good. It's like way It's not the bank account with dollars going up. It's the allergy levels, right? So anyway, so when I saw this, I said, now what do I do? He said, you're allergic to everything around you, right? I said, oh, that's not a good place. Then he said, okay, I said, now how do we sort this out? And he said, then he gave a whole report of, you're allergic to the cement, you're allergic to this. There was alcohol that was low. That was very low. I was very happy that alcohol was very low. Cigars were very low. Right, so that was really good. And the things that I don't really like were really high, so that was cool. But there were 124 allergies. I turned as an allergy. It's like that, right? And so now what do I do? I'm thinking in my head, what is the guy going to do? So I started going on apoltrosis in my head. I said, okay, now I'm this guy can't hold me. I'm freed from here, freed, like blanket spread, freed. No chance, right? This guy immediately says, okay, we're going to do a kind of a 50 pricks here, 50 on day 1, 50, and he'll make circles and observe. And then next day, he'll don't have anything. Next day, 74, like pricks, right? And I'm thinking, I said, oh my God, now I'm thinking, what kind of apoltrosis is going to work on this now? Because this is going to be painful. But anyways, it wasn't painful. He just finished the whole thing. And And then I believed in my head that, look, this thing is going to work far quicker on me because I'm not enslaved to that anymore, right? I'm not in the market of slavery of health, right? Nor am I in anything else, right? So the moment that happened, I felt it started moving really faster, and the doctor started like sending stuff to me, which he's doing already. And I realized that sometimes we get lost in the fact that, is it a miracle happening? But I'm saying the whole environment was set up like how it was set up in Nebuchadnezzar's case. Everything was set up in such a manner that you go in one and everything starts just falling apart in a good way. So that kind of happened for me. And then I realized, okay, there is, this word works from this perspective. Can I have Ephesians 1:7? I just want to go a little more. Is it okay? Is this boring? Or is that, yeah. And how am I even asking a question? Is this boring? Is this boring? No, okay. Are you sure? This side. Okay. So, no, thing is, I just want to take you deeper because you can come out of this one, right? Because at least you can walk out and say, I know what our redemption looks like, right? Our answers can change after this, right? If the answers can change, your heart is changed already, right? So this is one kind of redemption. Can you see that? It's very if you see, it's very transactional, right? In him we have redemption through his blood. Okay? Through his blood. Means this was the lutrosis that happened. Means he paid that third guy and he's really freed you. That is the last one, right? This is one position in your mind of redemption. Yeah? And that one and let's go to quickly Colossians 1:13. For a minute I forgot that word. Yeah, apolutrosis. Yeah, that's the Colossians 13, right here. This is a different version of that, right? It says he has delivered us from the power of darkness and conveyed us into the kingdom of the Son. This is not transactional. It's shifting your identity, right? Which you need daily. From poverty to something else, from sickness to something else, from bondage to something else. You need this shift daily, right? So this apolutrosis is the transaction, not the transactional. This is the one that shifts your identity, right? So every day you can bank it in your heart and mind to say that I have shifted my identity. Right? So this is that one. Okay? Hey guys, lift up your hands once more. Okay? Bring to remembrance now things that have enslaved you. Last time we did it blindly. Now I'm saying do it with the revelation that is just shared with you. All the things that you did not know that you needed apolutrosis from, you needed release from, where you are flourishing and you want to flourish fully with nothing binding you, with no limitations around you, right? All this while there were limitations around you and you did not understand why it happened. Right? But now is the revelation that this was demonstrated on Nebuchadnezzar, right? And now it's released in New Testament again with different dimensions, right? And I push it onto you that you will see these breakthroughs. You will see these breakthroughs because it will not have been given to me in this manner if it's not to have happened now. Okay, so the other way you can look at it is last, okay? Just last. Then I'm done with this. Okay, because I want to make sure I've sealed it onto you. Okay, I was looking at it again, and I said, okay, sometimes our nervous system and our whole understanding, it needs a reference point. Why is it happening now? Maybe it happened at that time. Maybe it won't happen now, or will it happen again? Right? And I realized that even if you look at the scriptures of the New Testament, they're all broken down and you can always refer it back, right? So can I have the first slide of the past, as I saw this in the past? So if you look at these scriptures, this shows apoltrosis as already happened. It's a past action, it's done, that you don't need to even go. But sometimes if you're very tired and you don't know if it's really happening or not happening, you can look at the next slide, okay? The next slide is, it is the process that is happening right now. It is in process, right? Ephesians 1:7, Hebrews 9:15, it says that it's happening, it's going on right now, right? It's going on. And should you want to ever say that, will it happen to me tomorrow, right? If you look at the next one. If you look at Luke 21:28, Romans 8:23, Ephesians 4, you can go home and read this, you'll realize that the liberation is already moving. Wherever you go, you'll find yourself surrounded by it. Right? Okay. Okay, with that, I'll end this. And Bandy's come up. And I think we have a pastoral team as well. Yeah? And I pray that you'll have this freedom, okay? Thank you, guys.